Hi, everyone. Welcome back to What's Up Wednesday. My name is Rachel, and I'm on the client success team here at Early Learning Ventures. And today I'm joined by Dr. Katie Richardson, who is the CEO of Lantern. Welcome, Katie, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Rachel, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, myself, our viewers, we're really excited to get to learn more about Lantern. I also want to just thank everybody who is joining us to watch live today, or if you're watching the recorded episode, thank you so much for being here. If you have not heard of Early Learning Ventures before, we are a mission-driven nonprofit based out of Colorado with a focus on expanding access to quality and affordable childcare. We recognize that early childhood educators deserve better, and as a nonprofit partner, we provide software solutions and hands-on support to help streamline operations, reduce costs, and improve care. These What's Up Wednesday videos are one of many resources that we offer, and I have links in the description of this video that will take you to our website where you can learn more and hopefully connect further. I also have all of the links and contact information that Katie shared with us today in the description as well. So I hope that you will check those out. All right, Katie, why don't you start us off with introducing yourself?
Wonderful. So I'm a pediatrician by background, kind of crazy how I ended up here, but I've been a practicing pediatrician for about 20 years. And for those of you that don't do that work, there's no greater role than really getting to know families intimately as you're trying to help them with their children's health. In fact, I know the same is likely true for childcare providers. But I came to Lantern as the CEO about 2.5 years ago. And I think if I can make a difference in a family's life in a 20-minute visit when I'm practicing clinically, right now, Lantern reaches over 565,000 families nationwide. And so obviously that's multiples of the impact that we're making every day at Lantern. So super excited to be supporting parents and families and other caregivers in this way.
That's amazing. Thank you. And wow, that is a large number. That's really incredible to hear.
It is. And we have just been growing by leaps and bounds, and it's very exciting.
So today we're going to be sharing specifically about the Family Friend and Neighbor text channel. Can you tell us what inspired Lantern and Mile High United Way to create this FFN text channel?
I can. For those of you that are in Colorado, hopefully you have heard that the Colorado legislature put into place what we're calling the Colorado Care Worker Tax Credit. And so eligible care workers, and that is both informal childcare providers, licensed childcare providers, and then also some healthcare providers and long-term care providers are eligible for a tax credit on their 2026 taxes. So as part of that, our goal is much beyond this, but was to get the word out about this amazing opportunity for all care providers, but specifically for Colorado's informal care providers or family friend and neighbor childcare providers.
And for those who maybe are unfamiliar, can you tell us exactly who are those family friend and neighbor caregivers, and why are they so essential to Colorado's early childhood system?
In the state of Colorado, over half of children that are in the 0 to 3 age group are cared for by family members. So that could be grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends. So again, potentially someone who is caring for their own child might also open their doors to take care of other children, and then neighbors similarly. So again, they are a huge part of Colorado's childcare workforce that are often unseen and under-supported, I would say, in their work. So we are excited to be able to bring resources to these more informal care providers.
Yeah, that's really amazing. And it's great, especially right now. I mean, it is about that time where we all are going to start thinking about taxes again. And so that's just one of many things that would be really great to help spread the word about.
Absolutely.
Um, how would you say this new initiative fits into Lantern's overall mission, which is to support parents and caregivers?
Yeah, I mean, we have been around. We are also based in Colorado, but serve families nationwide. And we have been doing that for 30 years. We actually started in Colorado as Colorado Bright Beginnings. And the founders, which happened to be one of our former governors, Governor Roy Romer, actually wanted to make Colorado the best place to raise a child. Which I would agree, having raised a child here myself, it is a great place to raise a child. But they started by bringing together experts, researchers, pediatricians, and others really to create content to be delivered in home visits. Well, fast forward, the team, so at that time, the name of the organization was Colorado Bright Beginnings. Fast forward to about 2014, 2015, and the team said, why don't we take all this amazing content that has been created and is being delivered in home visits and put it into the bite-sized nudges of text messages? Think about how many more families and caregivers we're able to reach. So at that point, the name changed to Bright by Text. Many of you may have heard of Bright by Text previously. And we were able to go from a Colorado organization to serving parents and caregivers nationwide. And then fast forward, a lot of people are like, well, why'd you change your name again? We rebranded and changed our name and our look back in March of this year. We're the same organization with the same mission, which is to provide a bright beginning for every child to reach their full potential. And we just wanted to we know that families are getting information in many different ways. We still believe text messaging is a great way to reach care providers. And I'll talk about that more as it relates to our FFN care providers. But we also know that there are other ways that they're getting information, and the future of Lantern will be providing information in many ways, not just text messaging. So it's a little bit about our history and how we got here, but we've always supported all types of caregivers. This new channel really is specifically for those family, friend, and neighbor care providers. So we're able to put content from care providers that are caring for children 0 up to age 11 in a single message that gives ideas for multiple age groups, as opposed to our family content. It's really tied to an individual child's date of birth or a mom's due date. So with this programming, if you're caring for children of multiple ages, you're able to get all of that on a particular topic in one landing page in one text message. So, and we really felt like supporting these folks in the work that they're doing, not just the content that we provide our families, was also important.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing a little bit of that history there, and congratulations on the rebrand this year.
Thank you.
We did do a What's Up Wednesday episode. Gosh, I want to say it was almost 3 years ago now, or at least over 2 years ago, on Bright by Text. So that's really exciting to get to have you back and have these new updates.
Wonderful.
So I understand that the Family Friend and Neighbors providers co-created this new program. Can you tell us a little bit about what that collaboration looked like?
Absolutely. We got the message out that we were looking for some FFN caregivers with lived experience to help us create the content that was going into this channel. And we were blown away by the reception. We had over 200 FFN care providers that said they wanted to be part of our lived expertise group. That would have been a little unwieldy to have that many folks chiming in. And I'll talk a little bit about the types of things we did in a minute. So we had to narrow it down to 10. We had a group of 10 and we met for many months, actually. Every other week, we met with them for an hour. And each time we met with them, it was a new part of from determining what topics we would put into the channel, to what resources we would put into the channel, to what do they want us to emphasize and how we're approaching this communication. And words like quality care were things that, they wanted to make sure we were emphasizing. We had them do some testing between, do you like this type of landing page better or this type of landing page better? And then they even helped us with, I think one of the crucial issues with a program like this is, how do we even help family, friend, and neighbor care providers say, yes, I'm an FFN, and then say, and I want resources to help me be the best family, friend, or neighbor care provider I can be, and then signing up for the channel. So where do you find them? How do you reach them? What is our campaign to let people know about this channel look like? So they helped us, I mean, from beginning to end, through those many hours that we spent with that group.
It's amazing to hear that there was that large of a group that wanted to be involved and participate. I think that really shows that there's a huge need here. And I mean, not many projects, I don't think, get that much buy-in from the very beginning.
I agree. Again, we were just blown away. And it was hard for us to narrow them down, but we wanted a kind of a broad swath. So we wanted some grandparents, we wanted some friends, we wanted some neighbors, we wanted caregivers that are caring for young children, for older children. We wanted caregivers that were in rural areas versus urban areas. And so we really, that spoke different languages. We really tried to get kind of a broad mix of FFNs to help contribute to creating the channel. So
I love that. Can you share some of your takeaways from the many hours that were spent with this lived expertise group?
I can. I mean, they were, I think, essential. Again, they helped us come up with 90 different topics that they thought we should cover with our messages and our landing pages. They helped us shape the tone and feel, as I mentioned. And they were, despite the fact these meetings, by the way, were in the middle of a work day. So we often had children that were also in and out of our virtual meetings, which I loved that aspect. But again, they helped us frame the tone, the feel, the cultural relevance of the messages. They were just amazing. I can't say enough about the group and what they added to the process.
That's great. Can you share a little bit about the importance of the program and its multilingual and culturally responsiveness?
Yeah, we know that many FFN caregivers are women of color, immigrants, refugees. And so we really wanted to ensure that the content was relevant, that it was content that they would be eager to get and utilize in the care that they're providing. All of Lantern's content is available in English, Spanish, and now Arabic as well. And so again, having the insight, about 80% actually of our lived expertise group were Spanish speaking only. So we incorporated, again, a lot of that feedback into the creation of the program, the topics, and how it shaped everything. So super, super important. We know what some of the demographics are, and we knew that we needed to incorporate that.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk about why text. Why did Lantern choose texting as the primary way to reach caregivers?
Well, especially if you think about it back in 2015. I mean, we had been, nowadays, I feel like some of us get annoyed by the number of people that are texting us. I happen to be a lover of text, which is probably why I am here in this role. Quick and easy, to the point, and accessible, right? You can do it anywhere. But what we know by data that you can find on the internet is that 98% of households in the US actually have a mobile phone, and a very high percentage of those, I think it's 86%, are smartphones. And so we know, especially for a group like FFNs, this is a great way to meet them. They can, if the kids are napping, they can take a quick look at a message on their phone and read through that in fairly quick fashion, and then come back to it, obviously, if need be. But when you think about the fact that these folks are fairly isolated, they have accessibility to their phone and text messages, that was some of the biggest reasoning that text was chosen as a great way to reach them. The other statistic, which I love, is something like 98% of all text messages are read and responded to within 3 minutes. Now, some people would probably disagree with that, but that's what the national statistics would say. We are currently almost exclusively a one-way push of information to these FFN providers. But when we talk about the future, I can talk about how we would love to make it more engaging with some two-way text opportunities. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand. I think most people these days, you're right, they are on their phone, they've got their phone right there with them, and you can really respond at a time when you're available, and it's easy. It's convenient. We have someone in the comments just saying that it's great to know about the inclusivity of the language support, and it's really awesome.
Awesome. Yes, we're hoping, by the way, for all of you out there. Like I said, we added Arabic last year, at the end of last year, and that was kind of our dipping our toe in language expansion as a whole. But our hope would be that we can expand into many more languages as well, because obviously getting learning content, resources in the language of your heart is something that is important to us as an organization.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you give us an idea of what a typical message looks like and how caregivers would use it in their daily life?
Absolutely. I'll give you a couple sample messages. So one that I'm going to read to you, but kids love to move and it supports their growth. Get them moving more at every age. Explore tips and milestones to support strong bodies. So every text message, some people probably don't know this, but when you're sending a text message, it has to be 140 characters or less. Each one of these topics then has a link to a landing page. And our landing pages for this FFN channel, again, our lived experience group really helped us formulate what we wanted, but we have lots of bullet points to make it kind of quick and easy to look at. There's one section that's called our read section that's right at the top. So if you're someone who likes to just look at quick bullets of information, you can look at that. The next section is the watch section. So there are many videos that might talk about gross motor development or getting kids moving and that kind of stuff in this particular example. Then the next section on that landing page is do. So here are things that you can do to enhance gross motor development or getting kids moving more at every age. And they're broken down then by age groups in that section too. And then lastly, we have an additional resources section. So we've really been very specific, again, about how we set this up to make it hopefully quick and easy to scan. And if people want to watch, when they have time to watch, they can do that. When they want to go back and look at additional resources, they can do that as well. But that's one example of the type of content that we're putting out.
That's a great example, and I love that it is like just the message itself is just a short overview, and when you're available, you're able to click through and actually, learn more. And you've got that history in your message too to go back and, oh, I know yesterday I got something that I really wanted to learn more about but didn't have a chance. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yes.
So, what have you guys learned so far from the over 450 family, friend, and neighbors who have joined the channel already?
Yeah, our initial, what I would call our baseline survey, we really tried to get some information on the types of caregivers that were going to be signing up for the channel. And I think it's of interest to us. It's of interest to funders and others to know, okay, what does this population look like? And if you just think about who's signed up so far for us, and we'll continue to report on this, 75% of providers care for 2 or more children. 80% are caring for the children in that 0 to 3 age. So like I said, there's a huge percentage that are taking care of right now Colorado's young children. And 66% are family members, 18% are friends, and 4% are neighbors. This again is so far what we've gotten from our initial survey results. What we know based on those that have signed up for the channel, that 79% of them are unlicensed care providers, which we would expect, and about 60% of them are providing care without pay. So again, I think for me, at least, going into this, we made some assumptions of the types of FFNs that might be signing up and getting our content. What this data has shown us, with obviously a lot more detail, is I think we were on track with what we were thinking. These informal caregivers, the majority of them are unlicensed, and many of them are working without pay. So some of the other types of resources that we are putting out, including information about the tax credit, including free and low cost resources that are out in communities to help these care providers with the care of children. Those are important things for us to include. We also know, at least right now, that about 42% are Spanish speaking and 56% English, with a small percent right now that are getting our Arabic messages. So we also know about half are Hispanic or Latinx, and 48% have a household income of under $50,000. So again, what this data, I think, helps us not only, I think, reinforces some of our thoughts and ideas about the types of providers that we would be serving with this channel, but it also helps us form the type of content that we think might be needed for these types of care providers. So
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing those statistics. Oh my goodness, statistics. I love to really see the numbers, but my gosh, that sounds like there are some huge challenges there, and especially that's a very large percentage that is working without pay.
yes, it's true.
Can you share any like maybe success stories or early stories or feedbacks that have really demonstrated how beneficial the channel is so far?
So we are getting ready to launch in early November our second survey. So I'll probably have more amazing stories to share at that time. But one of the questions we really asked in our baseline survey was, what made you decide you wanted to sign up for this channel? And it was very heartwarming to see that this is a group of childcare providers. Not that this is not true of every childcare provider, but right, they really want to elevate the quality of care that they're delivering for families, and they want to ensure that the children in their care have the best outcomes that they can have. And so for me, that makes it all worth it. Like, those we saw that and heard that time and time again from those that had signed up for the channel.
Thank you for sharing. So you have described this as an impact on equity initiative. How is it helping make the early childhood system more inclusive?
Yeah. So I think I've talked a little bit about it, and you can definitely see in our statistics. Um, our goal is really to lift up these informal care providers and get them the resources that they need. And I would say, with where things are today, I think there are challenges for everyone in the early childhood space. Like I'm not only our informal caregivers, but any early childhood educator, I think, is probably struggling because we're living at a time where prices are rising and things are difficult. But we really are, in addition to hoping that we can support them, from financial perspective, getting them, as I mentioned, connected to resources and that, we're really hoping that we can, again, if you look at, I think, whatever, 48% have a household income under $50,000 per year. We know this is a group that if we can get them these resources, it will be amazingly helpful for all of these families. So that really is the kind of behind the scenes of what we're hoping to do.
What lessons could other states or organizations learn from this model?
Yeah, our hope is really to take this from a Colorado pilot and expand it nationwide. But Colorado is leading the way in many ways on not only our focus on early childhood, but also, with things like the child care worker tax credit, really trying to uplift this population specifically. And I'm proud to be here in Colorado and to do that. And my hope is that other states will hopefully follow suit.
Yeah, I mean, you should be proud. It's really amazing to hear the impact that is already being made so far in this program. As far as what's next, how do you plan to grow or evolve the Family Friend and Neighbor text channel?
Yeah, we our tech platform right now is about 10 years old. So it has some limitations. And our goal throughout this, again, as I mentioned, kind of the isolation piece is something that we'd really like to tackle, not only for our FFNs, but also for our families on the Lantern platform. How do we create a sense of community? How do we share the stories more broadly? How do we get peer advice and recommendations? Like, what's a great activity that you've done recently with 3-year-olds or something like that? So as I mentioned earlier, having the capability to do kind of two-way texting and really connecting FFNs with opportunities to come together, in real life, to learn together, to grow together. That really is what the future of where we want to go with this channel.
That's really exciting. What kinds of partnerships or funding are you seeking to help these future visions?
Yeah, I mean, we are applying for grants in the space, obviously, continuing to work, in Colorado on, where are our early childhood coalitions and what are they doing in various parts of the state, and how can we make sure that we're amplifying and getting the word out about the opportunities that are happening. The Colorado Statewide Parent Coalition, huge in this space of supporting FFNs. But many of our early childhood councils are also doing a lot of work, and others. So how do we take what's happening in these pockets across the state, we can target FFNs by zip code or county. So we can deliver those resources directly to those that it would impact, which is really exciting for us. But partnerships is really what makes this happen. As you mentioned in the beginning, Mile High United Way has helped us to, has partnered to get the channel where it is today. And we're not going to give up until, our end goal is to get as many FFNs as possible to take advantage of that tax credit in 2026. And so helping them understand what's needed to be able to do that, as part of our goal as well. But partnerships, in my mind, we're all stronger together. So I would invite anyone that is doing work in this space to reach out because we are stronger together. And it really is what makes Lantern programming as good as it is. We couldn't do it without our partners. So.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I hope that this episode has helped to spread the word and create awareness. And I hope that everybody watching is clicking the links in the description of the video, or I also put them in the comments section so you can click through to learn more about Lantern or reach out if you have any further questions. Thank you so much for joining us today, Katie. Do you have any final thoughts to leave us with?
Well, a couple of thoughts. One, I know the links are there, but it is so easy to sign up for this program. All caregivers have to do is text the letters FFN to Lantern short code, which is 274448. And we'll get you enrolled and you'll start receiving our amazing content and resources. The last thing I do want to mention, we just launched another program that if you're taking care of children, you might be able to help spread the word for us. And it is a program specifically for parents of children with autism. You can go to our website to learn more about it, but similarly, parents can text the letters ASD, so Autism Spectrum Disorder, ASD, to our short code 274448 to enroll in that brand new program. And we're really excited about that as well.
Thank you so much for sharing. I just put those, the text and the numbers in the chat as well. So
Perfect.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you. It's been great having you here. Yeah. Thank you to everyone who's watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.